welcome. Good morning, Fiifi-Manfred City, of course. Another one of the holiday edition of the Edinburgh as a Fiifi-Manfred on YouTube, obviously. Nyama baby autumn. I say did home come baby. Of course, the things and run job. There was breaking news with respect to Kolo Muani and Chelsea's quest for a striker. Is it true? Isn't it true? What are the details? Yeah, remember as obviously then. We'll do the preview of the Ipswich game that Chelsea has to play this evening. We'll talk about it into detail. What threats and Ipswich for Edinburgh against Chelsea. What are the specific details that we need to talk about inside Ipswich match? It's something that we'll talk about also in very much detail as on Fiifi-Manfred for the YouTube. Stick and say, obviously, if you're not subscribed to the channel, I think you should subscribe to the channel and make sure that you turn notification. And in the notification turn and make sure that you do choose all. So anytime that there is content here, you are first to have it over here on Fiifi-Manfred on YouTube. Obviously, yesterday, teams that was Spanish La Liga started training, summer training, winter training camps to start games over the weekend. As is going to happen, it's important for them. Two main players by way of transfers and Nkunku started on the front of Chelsea. Of course, Chelsea now. The plan is that Chelsea in centre back. Now, in recent times, the English Premier League, there have been two players. First of all, Abrantia, your friend Ilya Zabany, or a Ukrainian centre back for Bournemouth, and also there is Gene Hodgson. Now, these are two correct centre backs for Bournemouth for now. They are playing some good style, especially for Gene Hodgson. Madrid Munich have expressed interest in the young centre back. Most of them are sending scouts to go and watch him and then see if they can convince him to go and sign for Madrid in January. I doubt Bournemouth are going to sell their two top centre backs, any of their two top centre backs, unless there is top dollar money, unless there is crazy money from anybody in Europe. And yes, I doubt Bournemouth are going to sell either Dean Hodgson and as a branch friend Ilya Zabany to go either to Madrid or even Chelsea. And even on the part of Chelsea, fashion team, so until Chelsea sell either of Axel Desassi or Benoit Belachile, there's no way Chelsea are going to buy an extra centre back. Most likely, Axel Desassi looks as he is the player. Once Chelsea are going to sign him, are going to let him go because at LCB the depth is with Abrantia, your friend Benoit Belachile, and of course Levi Cole. At RCB now there's Wesley Fofana, there's Tosin Adrabio, obviously, and Axel Desassi. And looks as if Axel Desassi and the third bet. I'll say if Chelsea can get an ambi-pedal centre back like Dean Hodgson, ambi-pedal or a good pass of the ball or a good ball carrier also of the ball, reads the game very well. He's able to step into danger and nick it out. Very, very good in that regard, Pam. This season for AFC Bournemouth and Andoni Areola, he has been one of the best centre backs that you can get in English Premier League. Also, what has been telling of Abrantia friend Ilya Zabany and he said only Abrantia friend Dean Hodgson, and he said in the last few games, these two centre backs have popped up with goals. All of them, they've popped up with goals. There have been times where Bournemouth for and here late equalizer, late winner, and then Abrantia friend Dean Hodgson has popped up with a goal for team my friend AFC Bournemouth. So I mean, these are things obviously that a lot of clubs do want. These are things that most of the clubs actually in terms of the quality of play that centre backs and Chelsea most likely in January. I told you of the meeting at Chelsea for here over last Friday and how it doesn't look likely so they'll go and sign anybody. And I was there and I saw the news from multiple places, and I'll tell you what really is going on in there with respect to Kolo Muani issues and what Jacobs Ben Moka in the last minute over them. Now, I've seen a lot of people have said Kolo Muani is not a bad player as everybody's making him feel. Yes, it's true. Kolo Muani ain't a bad player. Of course, somebody that moved from the Frankfurt conveyor belt, obviously, or a French international. It was a Frankfurt, scored some good goals in France. Paris Saint-Germain for Bebeto. Mind you, almost two strikers. They bought Gonzalo Ramos and bought Kolo Muani. Now, Gonzalo Ramos really seemed to fit what Luis Enrique or Paris Saint-Germain, but Kolo Muani isn't getting enough game time or Paris Saint-Germain. What I mean, are affecting the game time. Now, the young man is pushing for a move outside of Paris Saint-Germain to go and play. Maresca said Paris Saint-Germain for 110 million just about 2 or 3 seasons ago, 2 seasons ago from team my friend of Frankfurt. And I started only 15 games this season out of 36 now bottom in League One. Very similar to a bunch of Isak who lost to run in behind. And I think that a very, very good player in that regard. Kolo Muani to Chelsea with loan and option to buy. I know that news now yet to of course in Kofobe a pushy for Saudi and said Randall Kolo Muani to Chelsea with an option to buy. I saw other people also tweeting saying Chelsea is to request Kolo Muani. PSG will likely demand Nkunku in return. Kolo is 26, Nkunku is 27. With Nkunku generally considered as a better player, ideally Paris Saint-Germain would need to add something to the deal, but they probably won't, as they will argue they paid over 80 million for Kolo, so they will likely push for a straight swap. PSG interest for Nkunku is not new in terms of what they want for you now. The real story is that these are what people were saying about Randall Kolo Muani moving to Paris Saint-Germain, and also all of the details of the things that also our Paris Saint-Germain team and what Chelsea can do with Randall Kolo Muani. Now, so this is the thing. Like I told you, Randall Kolo Muani has started just 15 games at Paris Saint-Germain in the French League 1. Now, obviously, he's struggling to come across game time. Now, what is happening is that Luis Enrique favors a more hold-up striker. Now, Kolo Muani loves to run in behind. Now, sometimes he can drop deeper. Now, if you've watched Luis Enrique when he has worked with some of the best strikers like Luis Suarez, one of the things that Luis Enrique does is that sometimes he wants directness in his style of play. He wants more verticality in his style of play. Time now, MSN, the peak of MSN, Luis Suarez, she goes with Messi and Neymar. What he did was that if the tying legs of the middle, that was Xavi and Iniesta, were seen, he always asks Sergio Busquets, always asks Ivan Rakitic to go direct to Luis Suarez straight up for him to use his hold-up ability. Then Neymar will pick the pieces in front of him. It's something that he loves to do. Now, it's Gonzalo Ramos and a Felix style of play, for Tima, your friend of Paris Saint-Germain. And I mean, most of the times, when you look at the Paris Saint-Germain matches, like Gonzalo Ramos never. Now, even with Gonzalo Ramos, even as a center forward, sometimes he comes off the bench. In fact, the last game against Monaco, he was off the bench to come and score the winner against my friend ASC Monaco. And again, it's from an aerial duel of a branch friend Gonzalo Ramos. And Ramos is a better aerial dweller than a branch friend Randall Kolo Muani. So that's the thing. But like I said, Paris Saint-Germain for only onboarding almost 110 million euros. I think somewhere around 80 to 85 to 90 million pounds thereabouts. And I'm talking about friend Randall Kolo Muani for Frankfurt. Now at Frankfurt, and Oliver Glasner was really playing well. In fact, Europa League and Randall Kolo Muani. He went on to go and play in the World Cup where he had an excellent opportunity. To score and equalize, to score the winner against goalkeeper friend Emiliano Martinez. Everybody knows that picture, but Emiliano made himself very big and as our mention. Up to now, Randall Kolo Muani speaks about the fact that Sabon Hansen Debia as a young man. So the thing is that because Randall Kolo Muani in your game time only be more recently, what has happened is that Randall Kolo Muani has asked his agent, say, "Oh, baby, now the thing is that say in the Italian Serie A, these guys penny pinch when it comes to money. Strikers in terms of wages or even purchasing of the player. They don't do that job over there. Now, if you go to even the German Bundesliga, it's going to be hard because now the wager, apparently, Randall Kolo Muani, commander of Paris Saint-Germain, it's going to be tough for him to get it again in the German Bundesliga when he even goes back to, let's say, his old team, Frankfurt. Would have to take a huge pay cut, something that's obviously going to affect our brand Randall Kolo Muani. Now, I don't see why actually agent say on pay team and it looks as if the best place for him is going to be in the English Premier League because that's where top dollar is being paid for some of these players. Now, obviously, Obi and himself, Chelsea have always said they want a striker, box occupier, aggressive centre forward, a little bit of a variation our team. By Renfrey, say at Chelsea, there is already Christopher Nkunku in the team. Now he is backup. On no company, Chelsea have not let him go. If Chelsea would have to bring in somebody to come and play the football, then it's have to be Nkunku leaving before Chelsea will let somebody go. Now already Chelsea strike force now. It's Nkunku, it's McGill, and then I'm going to friend Nicholas Jackson as well. Now it's going to be difficult because I doubt that Chelsea will let Christopher Nkunku leave in June unless something really huge, something really differential happens. And at Chelsea, my branch friend Christopher Nkunku every one. I even doubt that Chelsea are willing to do a swap or straight duel between Nkunku and Randall Kolo Muani. To go into versus into the match the game versus Tima. To go into a swap deal with Paris Saint-Germain, I doubt that is going to happen. Saudi news now, I don't really think it holds water. In fact, yesterday after I did some more research, I went into it and I found because Ben had even spoken about it recently, and because Ben is saying, I understand Kolo Muani is not in Chelsea's plans. Natural respect for the player, but no approach expected in January. Like I did tell you earlier on from that meeting, Chelsea have several names on their list of possible strikers for 2025, but nothing imminent, and big confidence in Nicholas Jackson. As it stands now, Chelsea are not really pushing to sign a branch for Kolo Muani. Of course, it's a young journalist, your friend of Santi, and if you can report this story, your friend of Santi Aona, or a Portuguese journalist, or he reports for Mesato. And of course, on the SR reportage, break his killing Tony Mbappe story, and of course, he has brought on also the other one for Abrantier for Kolo Muani. And now, by way of transfer conversation, I'm sorry, but Kolo Muani to Chelsea, it doesn't look like it's going to happen. Obviously, because Chelsea want to still give a lot of time to Nicholas Jackson and allow Nkunku to stay. They don't see Nkunku as somebody that will just let go. If Chelsea will bring in a pure striker there and they will sell Nkunku in the summer and they'll bring in somebody. It's just like the way at centre back. And yes, meaning Chelsea has centre back, they will have to get in a centre back. So I should be like I mentioned, Ilya Zabani and Abrante Hodgson, and these are top players that Chelsea eventually would want to get in, but there have to be some outgoings before that can happen over there in terms of players. Now, you did the home command or by way of transfers, you be in command quickly in transfers. We still stay there in transfers now. Then we are calculating Chelsea versus Ipswich Town pretty much preview and any analysis. I say I enjoy some of them. I say and one job. There wasn't a good one. Coach, your friend Fonseca, Paulo Fonseca, and now at AC Milan, Paulo Fonseca, a boy against him friend AS Roma, he couldn't win that game, and it looks as if AC Milan have pulled the plug on coach friend Paulo Fonseca. Now, if you go to Milan, most of them think that Paulo Fonseca is not the man to take them forward. In fact, in the Italian Serie A, the league has become very, very tactical, and some of the best managers are in there. I mean, look at the job Thiago Motta at Juventus is unbeaten this season at home, and still that's it. Thereabouts. Look at the job where Gianpiero Gasperini or Atalanta in the Bergamo area. Excellent job. Was signing man-for-man job or Italian Serie A. Still on me top. Lazio have gotten a new manager who have come in and is doing some excellent job in Antonio Conte. Or Napoli, getting them to play some new style of football, 4-3-3 dynamic style of play. I mean, the last game out about Davide Neres and Kavica Kvaratskhelia, also in Napoli team, and of course with a branch of Romelu Lukaku up top, having a deep line metronome playmaker on FIFA and Stanislav Lobotka, and sometimes even in Billy Gilmore, then adding Scott McTominay who as the box crasher. I mean, Antonio Conte is changing something. The Italian Serie A people are changing things, but for AC Milan, there have been issues. Of course, Paulo Fonseca falling out with Theo Hernandez in recent times. He also had issues with Abrante and Rafael Leao, and these guys are very, very huge or Milanistic crew model, so definitely was going to affect him. And now, Marco Varinia, he reported straight up from Italy, say Abrantia, your friend of Paulo Fonseca, AC Milan for now meeting, and they've pulled the plug on him. And of course, Feka Mesato for also, Foot Mesato for also, about out on the mouth famous story, and that the replacement of Abrantia friend Paulo Fonseca, Ewotima, your friend AC Milan. Coach, former coach of FC Porto, the father of Francesco Conceição. Francesco Conceição now plays on loan from FC Porto, now with Juventus and Thiago Motta. Ne papa, coach AC Milan, as mentioned earlier in the evening on Foot Mesato, Sergio Conceição, who is the father of Francesco Conceição, is top of the list to be the next coach of team, my friend AC Milan, our talent Serie A, and they have had a lot of conversations. And now AC Milan fan page for them have a conversation. Sergio Conceição and takes the list and cast Renoir de Paulo Fonseca, of course, is on top of the list to be the next manager for the replacement for Paulo Fonseca in there. And I'm expecting say that's going to happen. I'm in there for him to go to Italy and then go and do the job for team, your friend AC Milan. Is an important conversation over there. Obviously, Chelsea are against Ipswich Town. Their games, our English Premier League game. I don't know. Where Chelsea now? Have you accepted to Liverpool winning league now? Because yesterday, after Liverpool wallowed West Ham United by 5 goals, I felt the Liverpool run away leaders of the English Premier League. I don't know how any team will probably unseat them. As it stands now, Liverpool need to be dropping about losing games about 3 or 4 or 5 or draw a couple of them in there. I don't know how many teams in English Premier League that can find Liverpool out our English Premier League name as it stands now. So I think it's going to be a little difficult for teams to catch up with Liverpool as it stands now and they go in there and win it. I think a better team. And now, after Nottingham Forest for a renewal match, no matter that second, and Chelsea have gone to fourth. What it means is that a match in Chelsea and Ipswich, a make or break game. Chelsea need to win. So I'm actually a better analysis. We in detail. There's certain things that Chelsea need to do to be able to win some match. James Madison responds to a Spurs fan criticizing him for attending the darts. Spurs fan, I see you are taking a piss. The form you were in and you go to the that's unacceptable. I say shut up, Wally. Shut up, you Wally. Obviously talking about him and now also still with transfers now. Trent Alexander-Arnold. The reports in the morning, I brought it to you over here in Spain, according to Mundo, according to most of the Spanish outlets, Marsamo, what they were saying was clear. And it's a branch here friend Trent Alexander-Arnold is likely to join in our team, your friend Real Madrid. And the Madrid are very confident. Now, after they go against team, your friend West Ham United, or celebration, now all you say, and go for Casa, people are talking too much. And the coach, your friend Alan Slot, was asked after the game, and what he said was that, or no, as a coach there, if you look at the celebration of Trent Alexander-Arnold, it speaks a lot. As it stands now, people at Liverpool, what is said, and he said people at Liverpool are sure, they know, say, Virgil van Dijk, any Brentford friend, Mohamed Salah, they are close to staying and leaving. But for Trent, they aren't too sure, and that's exactly what went on. At Real Madrid, Trent Alexander-Arnold can never be the Liverpool player. Never. And a lot of people are saying, say, so come marry that own team, yes, a Liverpool player, no? And Trent Alexander-Arnold is seeing. So be team have journey or and say he wants to go in there. Of course, yet also say in January, about your friend Martin Ibanez Zubimendi, team my friend Real Madrid are also looking at him to see if they can go in and then sign him for him to go and play in there for team your friend Real Madrid, or it's not going to happen in there. It's something that they want to go on and have the conversation about him in terms of the transfers. Of course, the transfer window for January, AB and SS obviously will be bringing you all the news around the transfer conversation, and there are lots of them that are having that conversation. It's very, very clear. Say Abrantia, your friend Arne Slot has done such a huge job with Liverpool, and everybody is giving them credit for the job that they've done. Of course, like I did tell you, so always tells you what can really happen over there. The possible exit of Benjamin Chilwell, Kani Chukwuemeka, Harveyville, Cesar Casade on loan. Alex Matos probably will leave in January. That's most likely what can happen. In there, I've always said, said these things can go on and can happen. Can go and have the conversation. Can go on, and then that conversation is going to happen. There's going to be a move in there. We'll have the conversation. The conversation is going to happen in them, and we'll see how all things go on in terms of the biggest conversation in there of all of the players or transfer conversation. You may the whole come up. We'll have the conversation. We'll have the conversation about what happened with respect to Chelsea match or when Ipswich Town and Babylon. Yeah, will be remove the home come over there. Then we'll see how best that match can go on. We'll see how best that conversation can be had over there. Now, something is simple. And now, most of the players that they are possibly going to play in the game against Ipswich Town are posted on pictures on Instagram, including Noni Madueke. So I'm very confident that Noni Madueke most likely is going to play in the game against Tima, your friend Ipswich Town. Now, Chelsea go into this game knowing that they have a huge opportunity to go on top of Arsenal and go back and occupy the second position, or at the very least, go back to third. Now, we are waiting to see how that is going to happen. Also, our conversation. Watch Ipswich Town again. Ipswich Town under our current manager, Karen McKenna, play also in a similar 4-2-3-1. And yet, formation are new to them. Chelsea play in a 4-2-3-1. Ipswich for also in a 4-2-3-1. Now, the plan is simple. Usually, teams that play in 4-2-3-1 want that dominance in the middle of the park. They want enough numbers. They want to win numerical superiority. Now, away from that, they also want the defensive cover of the two midfielders are original defenders name. So they'll be able to give them the cover anytime they are playing at the back. It's something that's very, very important to these teams when they're playing the 4-2-3-1. And that's exactly what Karen McKenna against Ipswich Town. It's something that I will use from the championship days and also coming to play when you see Premier League. He has used it several times. Against Manchester United, he went into a 4-2-3-1. Now, usually, they want to build up from the back. Now, Kieran McKenna, if you want more progressive style of playing the game, or person build a feature, and we use one metronome, one holder player, and that's captain of Morsi. Now, Morsi in the middle of the pack usually recycles the ball. Most of the times, Kieran McKenna, the starting lineup in recent times, in the last one against Arsenal like this, or Daniel Shea, or Wolfenden, or Grooves, and Branty FN Davis, and of course Johnson. Now, in a 4-2-3-1, but against Arsenal away, Omobo in a 5-back. Now, the thing is that when they go away from home, they want to play in a 5-back. Omobo, if they want to play in a 4-2-3-1 and then be resolute. Omobo, Omari Hutchison on the wing, played Smodix on the other wing, played Kajust, and of course, Calvin Phillips in the middle of the pack in there. Then Liam Delap, that was in the game against Arsenal. Now, recently, Omkoko Boy against my friend Torian Mospe, also, Obo in a 4-2-3-1 like we did see at home. Axel Twazembe at fullback, O'Shea, Burgess, any Davis, and played Kajus, any Sam Morsi, who is the captain as the two DMs. And like I did say, Morsi, the metronome, no kita ball, everybody out from a tree, play forward, every cycle play, everything goes through him. The build up of team my friend Ipswich Town, then Smodix and Johnson will keep the weight, then play Omari Hutchison sometimes as a floating 10, who is technical enough to affect the game in a roaming role to pop up on the left-hand side, pop up on the right-hand side to try and win games. So that's exactly what he does. And Liam Delap, an excellent tool of play. Like I did say, I'm going to try inside almost 4 backs or more build here. They build with a 4-2, using a branch to finish some more. It's an important one for them. Sometimes they build very, very deep power on them. And one of the things I've seen is that it means that Chelsea would have to press. Now, actually, Chelsea have been pressing in a 4-1-4-1 fashion, where most of the times now, especially when they go away from home, they give you the chance to have the ball, then they block passing lanes. The plan is that almost force you to make mistakes and then they can turn over possession. It's something that Enzo Maresca has done several times this season when he has gone away from home. One of the reasons why Chelsea away from now has been very, very good, because when you go away from home, they allow you to have some of the ball, then it becomes more transitional. Then they use the pace of Noni Madwe Kemo to head you in transition. It's something that Chelsea have done very well. Now, Ipswich without the ball would also press you. Now, what they do is that I'm going to press you too aggressively from build-up, but they use a cover shadow to push you to one side of the pitch. Either to the wide area. Now, when you have a wide area now, then that's where they come very aggressive. They come in very, very aggressive with side area more. Then they pin you, they make sure so they prevent you from having the ball in there. Then they come in aggressive man for man in such areas. So when Chelsea are building up, it's going to be interesting to see how Chelsea are going to play. Now, this is something I saw in a game against Fulham, where Fulham were also very good in that regard, pushing Chelsea to a certain area in certain parts of the pitch to try and press them 1v1. And I think I've seen that most of the teams this season, when this Milan stands down, it looks like there's a genuine burnout in the teams. There's some tiredness, and that's why Chelsea would have to do a lot of rotation. I think Enzo Maresca will do a lot of rotations. Now, because of a press scheme, sometimes I'm about 1v1 team, sometimes he leaves them vulnerable. And I think that this is a game where one of the things that Chelsea would have to do is to vary between short passing and playing through more press now, and also going over the press. And when I say over the press, Ipswich found Ebba very aggressive to come and press higher. One of the things that has to happen is that Chelsea would have to go long with Boston over the press, and really Boston behind them. It's something I saw very much when they played against my friend Tony Mospe, and also against Newcastle. Newcastle, I saw it. Now against Liverpool in the first league game of the season, I saw it several times where they went on square and press Liverpool aggressively, and then less spaces in behind. Even normal area company, they keep a high line to keep you offside in there, and it's something that's going to be really interesting. So these are the key things that we obviously have to look at our Ipswich Town game. Now, I think Zenoni Madueke gets back into the starting lineup, and we expect to say he's going to play well. It's a game that Chelsea should be able to win. I mean, given what's going on, Chelsea would want to regain the momentum in the back And the best place to do that is against Ipswich Town away from home in that match. And I'm sure that Chelsea should be able to win that match now. But this is what we draw the curtain. Manchester United, a big game against Newcastle United. Manchester United, I mean, tough one for Ruben Amorim and Emrant, you know. But of course, that's exactly what I know that he expected coming into the English Premier League. I mean, after the game, we'll come back with a post-match analysis. Until then, you'll take care. Bye-bye.